Yo, what's going on TikTok? It's your boy ChillDree here, but you guys can call me Dre for short. And today I'm gonna be giving you guys my personal top 10 MCU movies of all time. Once again, this is a personal opinion, so don't take it too serious. Also, real quick, I do want to mention that there may or may not be spoilers ahead, and you have been warned. And also, my honorable mentions that did not make my top 10 list is Age of Ultron, Thor Ragnarok, and Wakanda Forever. So let's get into it. All right, y'all. So coming at number 10 to start off this list, I have Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, what can I say about this movie? This movie is just absolutely perfect, and this is one of my favorite personal MCU movies because I am a very big Spider-Man fan, so I don't really want to say too much about that, but for those that are Spider-Man fans, y'all know what this film does for you. It has all three generations of Spider-Mans in this movie, has every single villain that has appeared in a Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield in a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, I believe. And this movie is just absolutely great. But if you watch it a couple times after you watch it the first time, which I cannot argue enough that watching this movie for the first time is one of the best experiences I have ever experienced in a comic book movie ever. But that's what I was saying. If you watch this movie a couple times, there are some flaws with this film. But overall, this movie is just a great film that deserves to be in your top 10. This movie's not in your top 10, then I don't know what to tell you. All right, y'all, so coming in at number 9 on my list, I have Avengers Endgame. Now, I know what a lot of y'all are thinking. This movie should be in your top 3. This movie should be number 1. Now, I'm not going to lie. I do completely agree with you, but this movie dragged on so long up until the third act because everybody was watching this movie up until the third act. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some great moments in this movie, but like I just said, everybody watched this movie simply for the third act, and I'm not gonna lie, after watching this movie, yes, I watched this 3-hour movie a couple times. The first and the second act, they dragged it for so long, but I understand they did it for storytelling purposes, which they did a good job on, but everybody came to see this movie for the third act, so that's why this movie falls at number 9. But just because this movie at number 9 doesn't mean it's a bad film. Coming in at number 8 on my list, which I feel like a lot of you may disagree with, but hear me out. I have Black Panther at number 8. Now, when I first seen this movie, the only two things I heard about this movie that made me interested to go see this movie was Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace, and the great Michael B. Jordan. Now, when I first heard that them two was gonna be in the movie, I had to go check this movie out. And this movie right here, man, shout out to Ryan Coogler because this movie succeeded all my expectations of this movie. You got a great origin story. You got great chemistry between all the actors. And overall, this movie is just absolutely amazing. Killmonger by Michael B. Jordan is one of the best villains in the MCU. And this movie is just absolutely amazing. It's exceeded all my expectations. I really wish in the second film, if Chadwick did not pass away, I really wish what they would have done with his character in that second movie. Now, coming in at number 7, I have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Now, this movie did not crack my top 5, but it's for good reason, in which I will get into later on in the video. But this movie right here is probably one of my favorite Guardians of the Galaxy movies out of all 3 movies because the soundtrack in this movie is just absolutely amazing. Great soundtrack, and got great character chemistry, and overall the story is just amazing. I like what they did with some of the characters in this movie. Now, I can agree that the villain in this movie was kind of weak, but if you put that aside, this movie is just a really great movie, and this is one of my personal favorite Guardians of the Galaxy movies. And then at number 6, almost cracking top 5, is the original, the OG team-up film, The Avengers. Now, this movie is great for many reasons. It set the formula of how you should do team-up movie with superhero, comic book movies, whatever you want to call it. In this movie, you can still watch it to this day, and you would think that this movie just came out because this movie has a great villain, which is Loki, one of the best villains in the MCU. And it also has Iron Man, Hulk, Nick Fury, Thor, Black Widow, Hawkeye. I mean, all these characters, including Captain America, all their stories connect in this one film. And every single character dialogue in this movie is just absolutely amazing, which I really wish they would do now in some of these newer MCU films. It's just the characters having great dialogue and interacting with each other, because that's what made this movie one of my personal favorites. And unfortunately, this movie did not crack my top 5, but I'm going to show you why, because there's definitely better films than this movie, but you can't go wrong with the original. Coming in at number 5, the movie that started it all is Guardians of the Galaxy, the original. Now, this movie is great for many reasons. It changed, the certain I think it was the current pace at the time when these movies were being released. It switched on to the more cosmetic side of the MCU. So think of this movie as like, you know, Star Trek or your Star Wars. I mean, what can I say bad about this movie? This movie has a great soundtrack, great characters. Groot, Rocket, Nebula, and Drax all stand out. The villain in this movie was okay, but you know, overall, just a great film that just started the cosmetic side of the MCU and just a great change of scenery for the MCU at the time. So this movie definitely cracks my top 5. At number 4, I have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Now, when I first seen the trailer for this movie, I already knew this movie was going to be in my top 5 off rip. Like, this movie right here, shout out to James Gunn and everybody else involved in this movie, including the actors. Like, this is how you make a great trilogy to end off a 3-film movie. I mean, what can I say bad about this movie? This movie is probably one of the most emotional movies in the MCU. This movie is just absolutely amazing. Like, I really have no words to describe. Like, there's really not one flaw about this movie, in my opinion. Like, you can't go wrong with this film. This movie right here, just absolutely amazing. Coming in to start my top 3 favorite MCU films, I got Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Now, I love Captain America's story in the MCU, and this movie right here made me even love his character and his story even more. I mean, this is one of the better spy films in the MCU that I really wish Secret Invasion would have had. Like, this movie is just great. I love the suit in this movie that he has in his poster. In my opinion, the villain, oh my goodness, Winter Soldier, definitely one of the best villains in the MCU, at least top 5. Nick Fury was great in this. Black Widow was great in this. Everybody that was involved in this movie did their part. This movie is just one of the better spy films that you can watch in the MCU. And this movie came out today, it will still live up to its quality because this right here, just amazing. But there is a better movie than this movie. Coming in at number 2, probably my favorite film that was so damn good that this movie could have been an Avengers movie. We got Captain America: Civil War. What can I say bad about this movie? This movie introduced Black Panther and the new Spider-Man. Like, if they would have just kept Spider-Man and Black Panther out of the trailers, the hype with them two when you actually go sit down and watch the movie the first time would have been better. That's really my only flaw about this movie. But other than that, great villain, great storyline, and I love how this movie felt really realistic. Like, if these superheroes were real in today's time, I think it would be fair. It would be a fair argument that the government would try to control these characters or these superheroes, but I just love how grounded this movie felt. I love how it was just super realistic if this was to happen in real time. And also the third act in this movie is just, oh man, that's how you do a MCU movie right there, man. And coming in at number 1 to top off my list is Avengers Infinity War. I mean, for those that watch the MCU, y'all knew this was coming, man. Like, what can I say about this movie? There's nothing bad about this movie. This movie is better than Endgame. I've been saying it for years. Everybody likes Endgame, but this movie is what brought all the stories in the MCU together. And this is how you bring every single story in a comic book world into one. I mean, there's nothing bad I gotta say about this movie, man. You know your guys' favorite top 10 MCU movies in the comment section. Make sure you guys like, share this video, follow me, and you guys have a blessed day, and you guys be safe. Peace.